Everybody, welcome back to another episode of Leading Crypto. This is your host, CVO, Magic Internet Money, and Burr Max coming to you live from Dubai over there to the right. Today, we're going to cover, essentially what we've been going over the last few days, last few weeks here. We've been coming into the FOMC meeting yesterday. Ended up kind of being a little bit of a nothing burger at the end of it. It was a little bit of a, volatility throughout the time, but nothing as far as I think what everybody was anticipating, which always interesting to note. So today we will be covering Bitcoin, of course, the US 500, SPX, NASDAQ. No, I'm sorry, not the NASDAQ, S&P 500. We're going to take a look at Dogecoin again, because it's still just the flavor of the week, Ethereum, and some order flow and open interest on Bitcoin there. So if that interests you, be sure to like and subscribe to this video. Stick around through the entire thing. And then now for the most important question of the day, Magic Internet Money, Burr Max. How are you gentlemen today?
I'm living the dream, man. Living someone else's dream. No, I'm kidding. Always good, man. It's a good Thursday. It's Volatility Thursday. Let's see what we get.
That was the most enthusiastic living the dream I think I've ever heard.
That's how you have to say it, man. You don't say that if you're serious.
It really
I don't know what they do over there in Dubai and the UK, but like here, sarcasm is a thing.
Oh, right, okay. We're known for that, just so you know.
Known for that. What's Americans known for? Just being
obesity,
obese.
Being fat,
war,
fat and war.
A lot of not good things. Some good things too, But yeah, no, it was a fun day yesterday. It was a good meeting. I took one trade. I did catch the long side, and I didn't catch the exact high short there, even though it was right into the gold pocket. But I did get some gains out of it, and took a quick scalp short last night before bed. So we're back to it this morning.
Yeah. We discussed this yesterday, how like this FOMC meeting was like the most talked about, most sought after. It was just something that like everyone in every asset class, every market was just waiting for, anticipating that you're just going to get this huge dump or this huge pump. And then it ended up being, small move, obviously. And there was definitely some volatility, but nothing, like we had at the last, there was like, the last one was just monstrous. So
we're right back in the range, man. That's all we're doing is we've got a very well-defined range here, and we're going to talk about that. So speaking of the range, let's pull up our chart and we'll hop right to it here. So again, this is your structural range from when you broke back above what we've been referring to as like a B-leg style pivot in terms of overall structure. So what I mean by that is if you were looking at this from a harmonics standpoint, you can see very clearly that you had a well-defined lower range here, and you're just holding that as support. Very interesting that it lines up nicely with like your monthly, averages from the prior session, the pivot, whatever you want to refer to it as. That's all that is. So it is still proving to be a very key level. Another thing that we've discussed openly, both in public and private, is that, we're looking for a change of behavior on more of a high time frame, not just like a 4-hour or a daily. The weekly has given us a really nice area to work off of here at 20,052.50. Come back to that 4-hour chart now, and you can see exactly where you're bouncing from, and that would be it. You're looking to close above this level here on the weekly basis because you have not done so since September, 19th of September. We're all the way into November now, so it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks below it. You get back above, you're now back testing that. So got to get that flipped into support if you're going to see this move transpire to anything other than just another lower high inside of the range. And you can see that anytime that we've been closing weeklies above these levels that we've been shilling since June, 20,688, now extending that up to 20,904 just because there's a new, more relevant number there. But for all intents and purposes, 20,688 still the most important level on the chart. Get back above that on a weekly basis. What do? Well, you come all the way up to 22.5 in most cases, or 22.407 if you want to, narrow it down to something that's a little more concrete. But regardless, you've got clear levels to work off of. So you've come down, taking the previous day low this morning. Now, again, if we just pull that range back up right here, you can see that you're trying to get back inside the range. Let's go to the hourly. I think that'll do best. And if you can do so, you've got a really nice overall gold pocket from your high to low coming in at where? 20,688.50, the 12M1 that we were just talking about, and the gold pocket and the point of control of this overall consolidation. So there, if anything, you're trading this as support until it's not. But if we start taking these lows, which is Max's preference because of just the way the order flow has looked, he thinks that that's the best play. And I would agree with him. It's just I'm going to trade what's in front of me until then. Any triggers to get this move into, basically 20,700, we'll call that, we'll round up, and that gold pocket is going to be done on the previous day range. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this right here because we just don't need it. And we'll get rid of the VWAPs because those are irrelevant as well. So last night it did make an attempt to fulfill Dalton's 80-20 and did fail. So if you're looking for a trigger to get that move up to the top of the range, you're going to have to get back inside yesterday's range, at least in the immediate short term, 20,300. You clear that, and we can start talking about a move up. But until then, this is range bound between 20K and 20,300. Resolution of that's going to dictate our next targets. And maybe we do take the overall lows, which would be, back here, Max's preference. So
Power bottom.
Power bottom. SPX, guys. So we talked about the SPX as well, if you recall. Coming into resistance, we said this Q4 needed to be held as support, and we'll talk about that on a low time frame in a second. But we've come down into the Q3 in 2021 open, which we did say if you get back in, there's a chance that you cycle this all the way back down to the gold pocket here at the 2021 low. You're at the 0.5 now, also the EQ of your trend. So this is a trend that we've been tracking since the first of the year. Very, very nice channel. And you're now at the EQ of it, showing a little bit of support like it did back here, resistance here, resistance, support, etc. So it is, it's an area for like a technical bounce. What we get out of it is the question: can it reclaim that 3764 to 3781 pocket and close this gap out and then rally back up to, maybe challenge some resistances? That's yet to be seen. But if you look at this on like the low time frames, and I'll get rid of this guy real quick, you can see that as you're coming down here, you got a really nice bounce off the Q4. So this was a key level for us, saying, if we can hold on to that, it can re-challenge into resistance, which it did, and lower high and back down to support. So to put things in perspective, as a whole, though, on like a macro scale here on a weekly time frame, you really do need to see this holding on to the 2021 lows. You really don't want to be living below that. And you can see why. This has just been support, 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 deviation. Now you're trying to get back above and see if you can't challenge back into some other more important supports, but you're actually finding resistance. That's been the trend, and that's there's no reversal confirmed just yet. That's the takeaway from it, is nothing has been done in terms of high time frames that would make us start looking for that move of strength off the lows and looking for some of these higher targets. So I would trade the local levels for what they are. If you're traders, if you're investors, that doesn't mean you can't take the risk here. Just understand that there's always a risk. That's really it. I don't think I have anything else outside of maybe the DXY, which I will pull up, and then I'll turn it over to Maxwell. Because DXY, I had talked about this coming into the weekly, and I was saying I want to get that move up into where this is our box. We're hitting it right now. So the DXY is actually at the resistance point that we had mapped out days ago. We talked about swing failing this weekly low at 110. If that's lost, we will look down to like 105. However, you've got a nice swing failure pattern straight back into a nice outlined resistance at 113.218 and the gold pocket just beneath it. So very, very clean. I've got to be happy with that. So one would think if the DXY can't push to this level, which we discussed last night, assets might get a chance to rally. However, if it does get through this level, I would actually look for it to attempt to make a new high, which is not what people want to hear, but it's just the nature of charting and trading. You just had another rate increase of 75 basis points. They've indicated, I put this in the group on the 19th of October, but I didn't retweet it. So I did retweet it yesterday, that if you go and look at the commentary that's been given from other members of the board, and I've brought this up in other live streams, they've been saying that they might front load all of the rate hikes in 2020 from 2023 that we're going to get passed into 2022, because then that gives them a few months to let everything set in before the next meeting in February. And those rate hikes will have started, 4 or 5 months ago. So they've got a solid 6 to 8 months probably of data to go over, comb through, and see if it's, if it's appropriate to pause. But while the job market remains hot, while inflation, CPI, and core inflation remain hot, probably not going to see them pulling back on that. Wage growth is there. So for them, they're looking at it as a strong labor market. They've got the green light to continue raising rates because nothing is broken. And they are on record saying that, they think it's more important to potentially over tighten. If that happens, they think that would be far less disastrous if they did that than if they let inflation get quote unquote entrenched, which he then could not define specifically after being asked to. But his, response in that conversation was they're going to do everything they can to bring inflation down. And if they over tighten, they feel like they have the means to handle that when it happens. So if they do break something, they think they have the tools, I think is how he put it, to deal with that scenario. But so they're gonna do what they said they're gonna do, unfortunately. But keep in mind, this is trading as technically as ever. So it's not like you can't trade this market technically. The technicals are there. It's just during those meetings, the moves are so quick. Like I said, when you made the move down, you really didn't do anything crazy. When you made this move down and up, you had a really, really easily spotted gold pocket that came in. It was literally just the golden pocket. I believe it was this high, and was it this low? Like right here? Yeah, it's this low. And let me get rid of this one, and you can see that all you've done is, if you had pulled out your gold pocket accordingly, you came right into the gold pocket, rotated the range in full. So POC up to the value area high, gold pocket, rotated the range back to the bottom side. Now you're trying to find your way back in. So technicals are running the market. It's a trader's market. Let's put it that way. It's trader's paradise. That's all I've got. Turn it over to Max. Let him do his thing.
Paradise.
Sweet. So I'm going to be going over why I'm of the opinion. So we had a guy in our group in the general chat area mention earlier today, or last night for some people, that we've got some bullish divergence on, this is a high time frame when it comes to CVD. So he isolated this low and to obviously where we were, and said, you've got some high time, or you've got some high time frame CVD divergence, which you have to always be cautious with when it's on a high time frame, because really CVD is best when on a lower term time frame, catching quick, where you've got two options. You either see a huge amount of positions changing hands, or you have a large amount of traders enter the market, but then they're put underwater, and then you use them to fuel for the upside. So they're the two real things that you're looking for when it comes to CVD. When looking at this one in particular, you don't really have either of them. The reason being is, if you really zoom into the chart and look at all the places where the really negative delta came in, the 35 million here, for example, so you guys can spot that. The 35 million here, where I'm pointing out, was on negative 10 million open interest. The 11 million here was on negative 8.3 million open interest. And you scroll back through the chart, and no matter where you're really looking, you will have an outlier, of course, but no matter where you're looking on the negative delta candles, the open interest is negative as well. So the opinion that I'm taking on that is, this is actually people selling their larger positions here, and that's what's creating the divergence. But it's not exactly being taken over. So it makes it certainly, in my opinion, the reason that we're getting that is, these are people that will have bought from the lows. They're seeing some weakness, and then they're closing their larger positions. And then the second reason that I'm convinced we're going to be taking these lows is, if you look at literally just, let's go through what's happened today. All the huge increases. Let me zoom over here so you guys can spot it. CVO's head's in the way. all the large positive delta increases that we've got are in huge increases in open interest. That's 25 million increase in open interest there on 14 million positive delta, 9.3 there on 11 million. And you scroll back through the chart on this, pretty much this entire range that we've been through, the very large increases in delta are on huge increases in open interest. what does this signal? Well, it literally shows you that when we do break down here, it doesn't signal that, but yeah, it was signaling if we do lose these regions, there's going to be a ton of longs trapped and underwater, which is literally exactly what the market makers want. They want to push it down to price where these positions are forced out. Where are these positions forced out? Well, it is going to be, this chart's a little bit messy. Let me hide this. Fixed range. Well, they're going to be below these lows because that's where the most stop losses are going to be. That's where the liquidity pool is. If you just draw a box like this, that's where the liquidity is going to be. And, you could extend it up to here. But when we came down and took the previous day low earlier today, the volume on that move, let me come and have a look. So this was the previous day low here. The volume on that move was just abysmal. There is no way that this is all we're getting for this low to be taken. There's no way that 11 million is all we're getting. Not a chance at all, especially not when you've got 29 million volume here, 40 million increase in delta, and 25 million increase in open interest. The market makers are not allowing for that. So personally, any move that we get up here, I'm looking for shorts. Really am. Where am I wrong? Well, of course, it's when we do claim this higher short. So the first short that I really would like is the monthly open on the golden pocket, and then the one that Magic spoke about, which is the pivot, the point of control, and the golden pocket. Will be banging if we can get that. And yeah, if you start to live above these regions, well, obviously I'm wrong. But for now, I've literally seen no reason to not expect us to take these lows. So that is pretty much how I'm trading, just trying to short everything that we can get. So that's my opinion on the charts currently.
Short it all, sir.
And Rivalry, good to see you, mate. It's been ages since I've spotted your comments. It's been a long time.
My man Rivalry. T-Bone in the chat too. OC Pet Doctor. My man Wes. Got 28 of you all watching. Thank you all so much. If you don't mind, do us a good favor there and hit that like button if you like what you see. We do come live to you guys every single day, Monday through Friday, that is, 10 a.m. Eastern, give or take. Today we did have a little change in plan, so we were running a little late. So we do apologize about that. So I'm going to cover a couple of altcoins now, right? So I was just actually cruising through something here, and I was going to cover, what we've been looking at, which I still will look at Doge and Ethereum, but one is Matic, right? So actually, I think I just got an alert on my watch, like something had said that Matic was, targeting like 200% gains and this and that. I saw a lot of Matic talk earlier today as well. So we just want to talk about this because I'm sure this is going to be a, somewhat mover. Or talk of the town with some news coming out if it's going to get any right here. So posted this in the group as always. We've got just a beautiful range right here. And so far today, a nice little move here looks like over the last about 8 to 12 hours here. And all we've done is really just run it to the high of the range, right? So now you've rotated this range once again, as you've done, a couple times over here so far. Really respecting, we got the quarterly VWAP. We obviously came down to more than likely that was a little local golden pocket. If you were pulling this region, exactly where it was. Golden pocket, bounced it up, got that run up to the overall value area high, right where we are now, about 98 cents, or right where we ran it to. As far as Matic, this is, right into resistance at the moment. Buying now is obviously not the play. Would be actually looking for a possible short back into the region of the point of control, stop loss just above, of course. And then, anticipating that we may even just rotate this range once again. On the other hand, right, for upside right now, you'd really be looking for the breakout and claim of this overall value area high, aka the range high. It's right at about 98 cents. From there, we've got a couple of speed bumps up here, but my main target would be all the way up at 126, which is an untapped monthly key level. And then from there, a major target we've been looking at for quite some time goes all the way back to the beginning of the year, and it's $1.52. So that's the two major areas I'm looking for on Matic if we conclusively break out and hold above 98 cents. Otherwise, all we've done is run it to the range high, right into resistance. And, at this point, you really have to anticipate you may just come back down into the range. So super technical there, right? I know that the news can kind of start sparking up emotions, and you get a quick move out of the price action. Everybody FOMOs in. Same thing with something like DOGE. Same thing with, whatever I reference it as the flavor of the week. Quant was a big one, for a while, for the last couple of weeks there, and it's just kind of been stagnated out as we had a nice rally and it's been consolidating. But a very technical move from Quant, right? Magic nailed, the power bottom, right? $40, and had that outline for several months coming into it. So that region was definitely an area we were looking to put on some risk, and then from there we took it up, and we had some very statistical levels up at the 200, and I'll just pull it up right now. Magic's got a better chart on this than I do. Not better, I guess, just different. A little bit, right? But this was our high statistical target all the way up here, right? Once again, identified by Magic quite some time in advance. So 221, boom, hits it, comes right back off it. Flavor of the week at the time, right? We had a really nice move. Everybody, can you imagine how many people were probably buying at these levels when all you're doing is buying right into the resistance? Essentially, that's what Matic is doing at the moment, unless we break out of that 98 cents. And that really is what all this comes down to, right? You really have to have that plan. I don't think many people understand what it means when somebody, the cliche term is, oh, if that's your strategy or if it's your plan. People really don't understand what that means. That's just like some people, I think, just throw that out there just to, kind of get their neck out of, take their neck off the line there. But that is a very simple idea. Like, to me, it's, Matic's going to climb higher if we clear 98 cents. Doge was another one, right? So I was watching something last night or listening to something very briefly. And, everyone really genuinely believes that, Elon Musk is the reason that, Dogecoin just rallied so hard in this brief period of time. And, whether or not that's the case, we talk about how the timing of news is, always so interestingly correlated to some of these moves, how they occur. And maybe that helps to kind of push the price up to certain regions. But once again, if you had the plan in place, once we got the reclaim back into this range, our major statistical target, once again, was going to be basically 14 cents, our weekly up here at 15.5. But even if you just caught this one, right, that was a really nice move. In the group, we covered a better entry, obviously, down in this region once we got past the quarterly. But for all intents and purposes, I bring this up because the news, right? If it's just, Elon Musk hasn't changed anything in the last few days, he didn't quit Twitter. Why did Dogecoin stop right here, right? If we start pulling back, is that because anything has changed, or, things are, another negative tweet's going to come out, or whatever the case may be? No, not necessarily. This is so technical, it hurts, in my opinion. So you got the run up to the point of control. We've got a golden pocket down here, which, not guaranteed that we have to come all the way back down to this region. But once again, now we got a new monthly statistical average of price coming in right here at 11 cents. I would be looking for that more than anything. Where we are at this exact moment, you're diddling in the middle between two major areas. And it's as simple as it gets for upside. Clear the point of control. So start closing above 14 cents, essentially. And we probably challenge up into the range high. Otherwise, I'd be looking for this for, not necessarily a entry. This is definitely more of a target, especially if you're looking at this in the sense of a short position, or I guess a DCA level if you really just love Doge. But I just really wanted to point that out, right? That the next levels that I'm paying attention for would be basically right at 11 cents, and then down towards back all the way to this daily, basically coming into this peak right here. Yeah, we'll see how that unfolds. But yeah, the news thing, try not to get too caught up. I mean, it obviously helps when you have a strategy in place and a game plan, and you're looking for this, and then you get a breakout and the news, but you got to have your targets mapped out, because otherwise, you're just going to hold. The news is going to make you hold the bag, because you're going to think, Twitter's breaking out, or not Twitter, but Elon's doing this, and Doge is going to be the dollar of the future. And you know what? I just get this beautiful move here, which if it's off the low, anybody that's just holding this from the low, even if you're down right on your overall holdings, that was a 200% move almost that you could have capitalized on, and then, re-entered lower, or just, bailed out and go into something else, whatever the case may be. But yeah, just want to point that out. Like, we get these news events, but then the price stops right at, major targets. That's always incredible to see. Let's take a look at Ethereum. we've really covered these levels really intensely this week. It really is kind of going over the same things over and over again. We're just kind of seeing where we are now in the chart after we got the meeting. We're coming into the weekend. This time last week was Thursday was actually the day when we actually had the really nice move up out of everything, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, and we're anticipating getting a little bit of a range, until yesterday, really. And we still have that kind of going into the weekend. So it's going to be interesting to see how things close out for the traditional markets tomorrow. See if we have any kind of a spicy weekend for crypto. A lot of times we get these Saturday pumps and Sunday dumps, right, as we reopen the traditional markets and everything gets handed right back. So we'll see how those kind of unfold. But aside from that, Ethereum, same areas we've been in. I got an old range from last year that has just been, so relevant this entire time, right? You see that's exactly where we got knocked our head on so far, right at 1642. Just below us now, right? If you're looking at this, we've got that quarterly key level. This area you really would like to hold. Otherwise, we're probably coming all the way back down to these highs down here, back on like 1377. Not guaranteed we're going to see those levels, but I would imagine we're going to come back down probably towards this quarterly key level, back to like the 1450 area in the short term. And that would change, right? If you just come up and start claiming 1646. So 1646 is taken. Obviously, that's our recent high as well. And then we're challenging up to the untapped weekly would be the next one. Simple, simple, simple. One other one I wanted to touch on was Phantom. So I just saw that was having a big move today. So we'll touch on that. This is posted in the group as well, right as we came into the overall lows. One of the, the easiest trade in the world scenario, right, where you come back in. We say this all the time for this, example, right? You lose the range, you deviate, you come back in, get the reclaim, right? Now stop loss below, or you can even stop loss below the low. From there, what are we targeting, right? We got a high time frame horizontal right here that offered up a decent target in the short term. More than likely, we got a little golden pocket. Look at that. The front ran it just a little bit. Otherwise, from there, untapped quarterly now has been tapped, obviously, and that has offered up a nice move there for Phantom. So in the short term here, possible to come back down, revisit that 3-month once again. If you're pulling yet another local golden pocket of this move, you can see how that aligns really well right at that region. It's about 24 cents. As far as any more upside from this point, you're diddling in the middle between support and resistance. If you're looking to enter right this second, I'd look for a pullback once again towards this region or the reclaim of the quarterly key level at 28.68 cents. After that, this whole cluster is really the next major area I'd be paying attention for. It's about a 10% window. It is between 31 cents and 35 cents. And we have a little bit of a hard stop today at 11 o'clock. So that is going to probably wrap it up for us. I hope you all enjoyed this update. I feel like we gave you, once again, a really nice, good amount of, information, our insights and, outlooks on what we're looking for and why across the board. We got a good amount of order flow, open interest. You got altcoins, all the good things here. So if you are enjoying this content, please be sure to like and subscribe. If you're interested in joining the leading crypto Discord server, where you can have access to all of our analysis, our 14 video step-by-step academy, and more, you can find the link to that is in our description box below. If you want to just join the public area, we are in there constantly. Max alluded to earlier, we were discussing some order flow with someone in the general chat earlier today. We take requests for videos if you'd like to see something broken down. Focus obviously on crypto, and we'll occasionally take a gander into some of the higher level traditional areas, S&P, Dow Jones, DXY, things like that. Amazon, Meta. Probably not going to dive into some small companies, but penny stocks and stuff like that. But Max, Magic, you guys got anything to add before we finish up?
Oh, good.
Nope. I think we got it. We nailed it. We're under time for once. I like it.
Perfect. Well, as always, everybody, join us again tomorrow, Monday through Friday, once again, 10 a.m. Eastern. We do this every single day. We cover Bitcoin and the general market as a whole. Join the group if you're interested down below, and we'll see you guys all in the next video. Have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Until then, cheers.